And then this last piece is, we talked about weighted average. Now we're going to do the same example or a similar example. But what if we use FIFO instead? And why would we use this in managerial accounting? We would use what best represents our business. So FIFO versus weighted average are different estimates. So we're going to go over this example with FIFO, and that'll be the last piece of the class today. So I'll do it in here. Let's get this open. Do this example one more time with FIFO. So we're going to go through the exact same pieces before. There's all these costs. We can copy and paste a lot of this. I'll just copy. So the first part was weighted average. And we'll call this weighted average. Units to account for, same. Units to be accounted for, same. So FIFO versus weighted average doesn't change anything related to this part. This is where it changes a little bit. So we're saying these percentages change. Direct materials. We're going to change these percentages up. 0%, 35%. Let's get that right. $30,000. Ending work in process. 100% and 25%. So that doesn't change. We're saying the direct material 0 to 30%. Units start in the period. So then units completed in the period are 100,000. Give me 1 second to see how they go. Where am I getting this from? Sorry. Right here. 30,000, 90,000, 120, 120,000, 120. And we got here equivalent units of production. We're saying direct materials and beginning WIP 0%, because we're saying that was already used. We're saying everything beginning already transferred out. That's what we're meaning from the FIFO rather than weighted average. Saying the conversion is the 10,500. And then the new amount here. Oh, sorry, we're doing this part. Correct materials. There. Yep, we're doing equivalent units production. 0. This times this is a 10,500. And then ending work in process. We have the 20,000 and the 5,000. The new piece we have in this is equivalent units started and completed. This is new to FIFO. So it's calculated from the units completed in the period, which is this 100,000. Oops, where do we get it from? Here. Minus units started. So this is kind of where we get how FIFO is different. So if we look at equivalent units from weighted average, we had here 120,000 and 105,000. And here we have 90,000 and 85,500. And the reason is we're saying that anything that has been transferred out was already in our beginning inventory, so we can't account for it in this batch. That's where FIFO is different and will generally result in this lower number. We also have to add in this equivalent units started and completed number for FIFO. We get this just through the formula mentioned and the formula here. We get that through units completed minus units accounted for. As we're saying, all of those were started and completed this period, so they're 100% done. Then we add in our ending work in process, which this is done the same as weighted average. So this is different, just a different methodology. You'll have to know how to do weighted average versus FIFO. I personally prefer weighted average. I think it's a little easier to apply. Then everything else is similar. So we'll do here, cost of beginning WIP. So that, these are the costs incurred. Let's figure that out. Equivalent units of production here, total costs. We only do cost incurred this period now too. We don't have beginning WIP in it because not in FIFO. I'll kind of line this down. I'll make an edit for you all here so you can see strike through, not FIFO. And the reason is because beginning WIP should have already all been accounted for. And so that's where we get this new cost, 310 and 440 per unit. So we get a higher cost per unit, 750 when compared to the weighted, or oh, sorry, a little lower actually, 750 compared to the 762. And then we just assign those costs. Where that's this. Let's see, units transferred. Let's see. Complete, beginning. Cost of units started and completed. So we have to explain a little more costs, a little more associated costs, but we're doing the same methodology here. So cost to complete WIP, this 310 times 0, right? Because we're saying we can't, we weren't, all the beginning costs were already accounted for. It's FIFO. It was accounted for in the last period. And the conversion costs here, 1,000 times 440. So total cost for that is 46,200, which you get over here. Cost of units started and completed. It's going to be this 310 times the 70,000 and the 308,000. So that's where you get your 525. And then the last piece, the cost of the ending work in process is 310 times the 2,000. And then the 440 times the 5,000. And that's where you get all of this amount. Oops, something's wrong. 46. 525. Oh, and then we have our cost of beginning work in process. That cost of beginning work in process is from the financial statements. So the goal here is really how do we back out the beginning work in process from all of the calculations. So we're reporting two different things here, right? Weighted average takes into consideration the beginning work in process, while FIFO, we try to take out all of the direct material costs related to it. Because what we're saying is like generally in the flow or processing flow, we're going to use the first cost incurred, and that should all be associated to the last batch. You can see that the total cost should always equal 845,100 because that's the amount spent. Right, we're reconciling. The whole goal here is to allocate the total amount to underlying products. Any questions here? I know it's hit your head over it a little bit. I know it's not intuitive and it's not meant to be, right? We're like making estimates. And so make sure you walk through these formulas on this Google sheet. All of the formulas are linked. So this ties directly to the slides. Hopefully that's helpful for you all. And then your homework should be similar, but it might add more complexity. Like you're still expected to figure out what a direct material is and what a conversion cost is. And so it might break that out further. Okay,
so where'd you say where'd you say the formulas were linked to?
What?
Where did you say the formulas were linked to? Like, is there like a link for where all the formulas, like a formula sheet?
Well, the formulas are all on the slides. I'm just saying I built in the formulas in this workbook.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
These are the formulas. We're not doing easy formulas anymore. You're in the second level of accounting. So this is the formula. The 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a complex. Like they're all just linear formulas. You have to figure out the amount of units accounted for and to account for. You have to then figure out their equivalent units of production, either under FIFO or weighted average method. And then we have to compute the cost per equivalent unit. So that means we have to figure out the cost and then figure out those equivalent units. Then we have to allocate those costs per equivalent unit by stage. That's what we're doing here. And that's what we just learned to do today. It requires a lot of practice. Any questions? I'm here. We can go over more. We can dive into the sheet.
So I just needed help with one of the homework questions if no one has anything with class.
Yeah. Anyone related to this class? Otherwise, I'll dismiss in a minute and I'll stop recording. Give me 1 second.